Test, test of the microphone. Test 1, 2. Test of the nose whistle. Test 2 of the nose whistle. Seems pretty good. Hey guys, it's Matt. I'd like to welcome the 32 new subscribers that I got last month. That's about average. Sometimes I do a little bit better. A few months we go negative. Welcome 32 new subscribers. I was hoping it would be 34 to match Donald Trump's felony counts. Oh, hi Zara. When is his sentencing is not till the end of November, so we don't have that to talk about right now. Guys, I was informed after I did the freevoice.io video on Radar Send-Off and MASH about a very, very strange song that's associated with the original MASH movie. And, I was not aware that the lyrics, it's suicide is painless. That is the original song that goes with the movie MASH. And first off, guys, if you're not aware that this really strange kind of dark song, I want to talk about it for a bit, and I want to talk about the original movie MASH. But don't go find it on YouTube. Do not listen to it. Zara's moving the monitor. I've never had a song that I simply could not get out of my head. Every moment I kind of woke up last night in my bed, I was singing. I'm not even going to sing it again for you. It's still in my head. It will not leave. Now, it's not as creepy and dark as it seems once you understand the motivations of those that wrote the original movie MASH, with Sally Kellerman as Hot Lips Houlihan, as Donald Sutherland as Hawkeye Pierce, Elliot Gould is he Trapper? Yeah, it's the movie, the original movie MASH, which I just watched for the first time last night. It is a very, very dark humor. It's very clever. They get the absolute most out of what they have. But the timing of it's not for everybody, and there's a lot of blood and gore scenes with the operations as they banter and talk to each other during the operations, which was carried forth in the regular MASH television show. But it's much gorier and bloodier than, say, what's presented on the TV show with Klinger and a lot of those types of scenes. It's not for everybody, and I actually fast forwarded through a lot of those scenes. But the movie must have been very low budget. It's the exact same set, I believe, or it appears to be the same exact set of where they just brought in Alan Alda and did the MASH, which I understand is just 20, 30 miles past out into the California hills, say north of Hollywood. They just shot it out there and said it was South Korea. Same exact set, and they get everything they can out of that movie. I mean, the timing of it, is I do recommend it. It's not for everybody. Again, some of the scenes are a little gory and bloody, the operation scenes. The timing of the comedy is perfect, just perfect. It's got its moments, and it has its slapstick moments, but it gets the actors, the director gets everything they can out of that movie. If you imagine that movie, say, with the character that played Rey in the new Star Wars as the Sally Kellerman, Hot Lips Houlihan, if you imagine just other lifeless actors of today, Donald Sutherland, the timing, the Elliot Gould, his comedic timing is perfect because the writing is on its own. It's not great. I mean, if you were to read the script, you'd go, "There's nothing here," but the actors pull it off. There's like a 10-minute scene where they play football against another Army MASH unit, and even that has its moments. It's too long and it's drawn out, but even that has its moments of being very funny. So the opening, da 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 da, suicide is painless. It's very dark, the lyrics, but it's. I'm just saying it's appropriate for how dark and strange the humor is in the original MASH. It's not as creepy, that song, as it seems. It goes with the original movie, I guess is what I wanted to say. I'm going to pause a lot, guys, because remember I had that time where I had a whole hour video and nothing ever showed up, or it was just a big question mark where the video should be. I don't want that to happen again. Well, it took me a little while to become fully aware that there was a second attempt, two asses in a nation attempt on Donald Trump. I guess we have to start naming them so we can make sure we're referring to the right one. This one is going to be called attempt number 2, a rifle in the woods. So, Matt, you just tell jokes to please yourself. Who doesn't? The first one we'll call, the first attempt we'll call I was going to say the Mike Tyson incident because of the ear, but Mike Tyson isn't involved. We'll say the ear, the shot heard around the world. We'll say the ear heard around the world. Attempt number 1. The ear heard around, it doesn't work too well, but the second one I like better. Attempt number 2, a rifle in the woods. I'm not going to say really anything else about it. It's the absolute definition of cake in a lake. I don't buy none of it. It's ridiculous, and the people that believe in it should be ashamed of themselves. So, let me just get this out of the way, guys. I started a second, just 1 minute or less, a second YouTube channel, but not for this. It's called Stove Advice, and I'll link to it. Here on Mondays, I don't make a video. I'll be making a stove video on Monday. Guys, at any time, this channel could be taken out. And, again, I'm completely indebted to Rob for what he's done for me and for us at his own time and expense at freevoice.io. But if we just had to exclusively go to freevoice.io, I mean, could I continue to pay my bills? I don't know. I mean, I need something else. I don't know what Stove Advice, if it could ever generate, any earnings for me, or if that could ever become something. But it is something I'm very interested in. It's my hobby. And I don't mind talking about stoves on Monday when I'm typically not making a video here. Typically, I'll go find a stove video, like some rocket stove tinker, and I'll basically say where I believe they're wasting their time. I'll show or highlight another video, and I'll say what I believe they're doing right, what I believe they're doing wrong, where they're wasting their time, that element of what they did, wrapping the riser of the rocket stove in this many layers of insulation is completely unnecessary. I'll that sort of breakdown is what I'll do. But right now it's called, because eventually maybe I see myself, helping people with stoves. There's no earnings now, but that's why it's called Stove Advice. So I just wanted to, I snatched up the .com as well, but there's no website or anything. I just wanted to make you aware of that. And those of you that are interested in stoves, of course, would help me out if you subscribe to that channel. Something very strange happened here in the Philadelphia suburbs on Saturday morning. Probably, was it 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. Saturday morning? There was a fighter jet, a military fighter jet, top of the line, like an F-16 or an F-18 or an F-15, ripping over the Philadelphia suburbs at full afterburner. It's nothing I've ever heard here or experienced before. I just spent 20 minutes online to see, if there were any news articles about it or what was happening, what was going on. Usually, if there's just a fighter plane flying over Philadelphia, there's a news story about it, just flying normally. So this was very different than flying normally. There's not too many people that have been to more air shows than I have. I was a big, Top Gun came and all that. I mean, when I spent a summer in San Diego, I went down to, it was actually, at that time, it still was Naval Air Station, NAS Miramar, Top Gun. Saw the air show there. Actually tried to drive on the base and had a guy with a machine gun run after me. I guess I was going to be a junior at Penn State, just to finish my sophomore year. And I wanted to go see planes. I drove out to Top Gun, out in the desert, Miramar. All these cars were entering the base. I just got in line. Well, everybody in the cars, as I saw after the fact, was wearing full uniform or fatigues, showed full military ID to get through the guys with the machine guns. Well, I was in a tank top as some dumb kid. I think I've told you this story before. I drove through. Hey, hi, dudes. Stop, hold, whatever. A guy literally with guns running. They were pointing them at me. They saw it was some kid. And I pulled over and what are you doing? I want to see planes, dude. What? There's an air show here for the public. There's no public access until the air show. Turn around and leave. He didn't threaten me or anything. And it was before, of course, the paranoia of the 7-Eleven job application. Who knows what would have happened if it was after the paranoia of the 7-Eleven job application. But I've Edwards Air Force Base, Avoca, Dover. I mean, I've been all over the place. Anyway, the point is, I've heard, these planes ripping around at full afterburner countless times. I know exactly what it sounds like. This plane, it wasn't. Somebody might say, well, Matt, a fighter plane just flying normally sounds loud. No, no, no. This was like, if you haven't heard anything, it's like nothing you can imagine how loud it is. This plane was ripping around at pushing 6 Gs or whatever. I couldn't see it, but I could hear it, and I knew the maneuver. It was going vertical. It was at full afterburner. It sounds like a rocket when it goes vertical. I mean, it was low. I went out, and it shook. It does shake you up. I mean, it's like, what is going on? We don't have Air Force bases around here. Oh, we had Willow Grove, has been shut down now for, I think, 15 years. There was an annual the Thunderbirds would come to Willow Grove. I would go down there every year, but that was very residential. The flight line was very restricted. The ceiling was much higher because of all the people that live around Willow Grove, which is down the Pennsylvania Turnpike, very much Philadelphia suburbs. Everybody's got an eighth of an acre, a little plot of land. So the they're doing everything very high. When you go out to the desert at, Naval Air Station Miramar Top Gun, which is Marine Air Station, there's air shows at El Toro too, but they maybe they've changed it. But when I went out there, the air show was in 91? It was just before the Saddam, it was just days before, I think, Saddam entered Kuwait, and I was so thankful that Saddam held back a few days, because I would have missed my air show. It was the greatest thing of all time. For somebody who was really interested in the movie Top Gun and was just getting into planes. They rip around low. I mean, just out there, that's no residential, and the Miramar. I don't know. They own 100,000 acres. I mean, it's just and they own all the way out. The things come in ripping low, which they don't do. Matt, too much detail. Not everybody here is a big plane fanatic. The point is, I went out and looked for it through the trees. I could not see the fighter plane. It wasn't just 1 or 2 times. It just kept coming back. It kept coming back. I'm very surprised there's no... I mean, there are articles going back to 2012. F-15 Eagle spotted in Philadelphia area. I mean, just a plane flying. There was a news article about it. So something very strange was going on. I thought it was a rogue pilot. I didn't think we were being attacked or anything. No, I thought it was a rogue pilot, or a pilot that has gone insane. There's no Air Force base here. It was ripping at full afterburner, pushing 5, 6, 7 Gs in terms of maneuvers, in terms of making those sorts of sounds over completely packed, crowded Philadelphia suburbs, and coming back and forth. This went on for 3 or 4 minutes. It wasn't just passing by. So I thought, after 3 or 4 minutes, this is a rogue pilot, or a pilot that's gone insane, or is trying to make a weird statement, or something very strange. Maybe that's why it's not a news article. Maybe that's why it's not reported yet. There's just no way a pilot could get away with, no matter what you want to say about not milk and stuff. Well, Greg and I talked, and Greg and I came to the conclusion the most likely, other than my first reaction was, this is some pilot that's gone rogue, but Greg watches the news more than I do, and he says, Matt, with the tensions with Russia, and it's simply a not milk tactic to increase tensions in everybody. It's a subliminal of some. It's not a subliminal. I mean, it's like, I guarantee no one around here has ever heard anything like that if they've never been to an air show. It was creepy. It was scary. But Greg said, it's just, Matt, this is, the person's not going to be reprimanded. They were doing what not milk via the Pentagon said, and it creates just helps create a tension, an atmosphere of tension regarding all the tensions going on in the world, whether it be Russia or now Israel, Hezbollah. It didn't have its hands full, right, with not milk with your stupid scripts, and people are really dying. So it's hard. I'm sorry to say, it's ultimately and originally a script. Whether people, as the script plays out, die or not, it's originally a script, and it sticks to its script. So that descriptor is not inaccurate. But not milk. Why didn't you just keep it to Hamas? Why'd you have to expand it into those? Leave those poor people in Lebanon alone. Lebanon, they get bombed out by Israel every 20 years to 25 years. They get bombed out. I mean, just when things getting back to normal, the Rita's water ices are going back up, and look, hey, we have a Dairy Queen now in Lebanon, and it all gets bombed the f out. Poor people in Lebanon, and just it's just really really pathetic that it has to play its scripts out the way it does. But I just wanted to tell you about the plane, and it was really strange, really strange. And if I get any sort, I'm going to continue to look daily if there's any sort of an update as to what that plane was doing, ripping around over the suburbs of Philadelphia. I'll let you know. Guys, here's a funny one. I just got a chuckle. Carolyn Ellison, whose testimony helped convict Sam Bankman-Fried, faces her own sentencing. So apparently this Carolyn Ellison, the girlfriend of Sam, the names, I mean, the not milk script, the guy that defrauded everybody through some sort of digital cryptocurrency, digital banking, his name is Sam Bankman-Fried. He could be mad. He could have fried. Maybe it's Sam Bankman-Fried. Maybe in some states he could have fried. Oh boy. So this Carolyn Ellison, she did a deal with the district attorney or something, have her sentence drastically reduced, and they'll see if they're going to throw the book at her or she's going to get some sort of immunity. And one of the things it said here is Bankman-Fried. It's some sort of financial firm he had to help people trade and buy and sell digital assets. It used the word digital assets. And at first, you think to yourself, well, who would be stupid enough to buy a digital asset? They think, well, they're all digital assets. Even the money they say you have in a bank is a digital asset. You can go down to the bank. There ain't nothing there. There ain't nothing there, Lieutenant. There's nothing there. By the way, the Zara, here comes Zara. Okay, she must believe that she believes I'm speaking to her. She doesn't understand a recording device, or of course, she must believe that this just is. I start talking, and here she comes. She must believe that I'm speaking to her. I don't know, because it happens every time I start talking. Here she comes, and I could be in here. It's strange though. Actually, when I'm making I take that back. When I'm making a video and I'm speaking into this larger microphone, when I'm not quote, on camera, she doesn't come in. That's weird, right? So if I'm speaking to her, she would think she doesn't know it's. I don't know. It is strange. Maybe she senses. I don't know. It's odd because I take it back. When I'm speaking into this, she does not come in. Anyway, she's a smart one. And hey, Rudy, I watched your video about that absolute monster, that person that wrote bad things about cats. I mean, maybe, I don't know, maybe that person that wrote that article, bad things about cats, some sort of demonic entity or something. Who knows? We feel sorry for low creatures. That person's low. Fiddlin' Ben's low. So let's say a prayer for Carolyn Ellison, the girlfriend or ex-girlfriend of Sam Bankman-Fried, so she doesn't go away for too long. I'm going to pause right now and say a personal prayer for Carolyn Ellison. It's been so long since we've talked about Stalled Century. There have been 15 or 20 major things that we haven't even talked about or I haven't even mentioned, but I'll just jump right back into it with the latest. Kathy Bates playing, I think there's already been a show aired, playing Matlock. Andy Griffin in the 80s played Matlock, a famous show. I've never seen one episode, about a defense attorney, I guess, but it was a well-received show, and it aired through the 90s. It was on for a long time. But I hear that Kathy Bates, her name is Madeline Matlock. She actually says in the opening episode something about, oh, my name's Matlock. Yeah, like the old TV show? Like, well, is it supposed to be? See, it's almost like they're just playing off the name, and people are saying that this Kathy Bates Matlock is really not at all the same show. And she acknowledges she's not picking up in the same vein as the old Andy Griffith Matlock. It's just, yeah, my name, oh, it's like the old TV show. Why even go there? Anyway, people are already predicting, as usual, it will fail. It's not going to work. It'll be like a bait and switch for some of the older people that would be my age, early 50s or older, would be fans of Matlock, and they're going to watch this Kathy Bates, and it's not going to be the same thing. It's going to fail. And of course, for a 76-year-old Kathy Bates, not identifying with 18-year-olds, 25-year-olds, 35-year-olds, and that generation insane, or what is it called, the alpha generations. They don't identify with her as just an old woman. So it's, of course, it's going to fail. And guys, I guess let's just do, what are, and I'll look to your comments, because whatever I've determined they're trying to do with Stalled Century has been kind of the same take for a few years. And there's still, I always think there's something I'm missing. There's something else they're trying to accomplish with Stalled Century that I'm missing. So I'll look to your comments. So number one, and I'll be brief because, the old guard have heard me talk about this many times. It's a way to remind everyone that the world really hasn't changed much. The old world is still here. Look, Vanna White is still turning letters. Kathy Bates now is Matlock, and Star Wars is everybody's trying their best, and the old world is still here, even though it's it's acknowledged it's not very good. But a reminder, like the Linus blanket, your old world still exists while they're completely, fundamentally changing existence in changing the world, even at a metaphysical level, in my opinion, trying to move the human into the digital environment, changing everything important about how people live their life. And the Stalled Century reminds or tries to tell people, I guess, subliminally or subconsciously, that not much is changing. Oh, here's Matlock again. Oh, look, there's Vanna White. Price is Right's still on. The old world's still here. It's kind of a desperate attempt to convince people of that in a way. And the second is while they put it all forth as they're trying to do their best, it's all meant to attach to the old world and ruin what was once good, whatever it may be. They can't go back and ruin the return of the Jedi in the early 80s or Empire Strikes Back. They can't ruin it directly, although they tried with George Lucas doing re-releases and really cringeworthy CGI updates. They tried the best they can, but they can't do it directly. So they ruin the current iteration of it, and then they backlink to the old. And the old, or what was once good, is somehow destroyed by the slop and the crap that they're putting out now through a backlink of sorts. It's the best they can do because they can't destroy the old directly. Excuse me. Like Dan told us that you can't. If everything was bad, there'd be no comparison point. So there'd be no demoralization. There'd be no learned helplessness. It has to be made good so they can fulfill what they need to do in terms of destroying it. It has to initially be good, because that's a big discussion many of us have. Well, why did the Not Milk allow the original Indiana Jones to be so good and some of the great things from the 70s and 80s and 90s? Because if it wasn't so great, then it couldn't be destroyed. And its goal is much more fulfilled in some way through the destruction. There's nothing to destroy if everything's bad. Everybody's, what their expectations are is so low, they don't expect anything out of a movie. So it reminds people the old world is still here when it's fundamentally being changed. It is a way to demoralize. The second thing they're trying to do is the demoralization of having everybody witnessed how everything that they loved in the past is being ruined, and the effects on real people that demoralization has. They'll demoralize people in every single area, but this is just one area of hundreds of things that they're doing. I mean, they're the hardcore Star Wars fans deep down are really let down. They really are. They really struggle. Even I love Star Wars, but I don't think it affects my life like some of the hardcore fans that have the action figures and things like that. And everything is being ruined. And this is one of our biggest frustrations. How we can say, or I would say to my friend Tony, every single thing they've tried to redo. I mean, is there one exception to this? Has either been kind of destroyed the whole franchise, destroyed the original, like Kathy Bates is likely doing now to the original Matlock, or if you could watch it and say they tried their best, it's a 2 out of 10. It's not the 10 out of 10 that it once was. It's not even nearly living up to the old standard. A great example is this Rings of Power, Amazon, the J.R.R. Tolkien Rings of Power how it's just completely destroying, and it's meant to destroy. It's intentionally meant to destroy what was once great. The old J.R.R. Tolkien books, legend and lore, all that went with it. Cartoon, animation series, animated movies, and was it Peter Jackson that did the 3 Lord of the Rings movies? With they're pretty good movies. So what it's doing now is meant to backlink and destroy everything that came before. And it's like, I always go back and forth like 50-50. It's like, in a way, it's like it's playing a game. In a way, it's kind of doing it for fun, but it's the Nautilus role. Its very mission and purpose in this reality is to destroy. And our goal is to see through it, to see through the trick. We see through every bit of what it's trying to do. Sometimes we miss a few things, but ultimately we know what its game plan is, and it's always a variation or hybrid of the same exact sentence, the same exact game plan every single time. And it always that one sentence, of course, is to keep people in a lower vibrational frequency, to keep real people from doing what they're supposed to be doing in their life, from doing part 2, the work and the worry about yourself activities, using this life for what it is here for you to do, or what it provides you spiritually. And if it can demoralize you, even with something like Star Wars, then if it can demoralize someone, yes, even through something that seems trivial like Star Wars, or a TV or film franchise, that demoralization in people will, in a way, keep them from what they're supposed to be doing in life. I mean, I hear somebody yelling at me in the opposite. Matt, if they made great Star Wars movies, people would be out in the theater watching great Star Wars. And is that part 2 the work? Wouldn't that be keeping them from what they're supposed to be doing in life? I hear you. I mean, I do. I'll wrestle with that too. But you can't be. If they made great Star Wars movies, you're not going to be in the theater 18 hours out of 24 every day watching it over and over. The demoralization isn't there. That may be better for you when you're not in the theater. You might be more up. I don't know. Okay, again, we're just no reason to get in the weeds here. So stalled century, and the last aspect is a mysterious aspect that I shouldn't even be talking about. It's way beyond my pay grade. But there's something weird going on with this last aspect. It's like they're trying to stall out time. Some would say they're trying to have the age of Pisces extended unnaturally, pushing back the age of Aquarius, the precession of the equinoxes. People like Levitt say that the whole astrology's off and you have to adjust. And I don't know the specifics, but in some way they are trying to stall out time. And in some way, the stalled century presentations, like another Matlock, via their creepy spell, helps them do that. Do I know exactly how that works? Will I ever? No. If I was at the Eyes Wide Shut party, which I'm not going, I wouldn't even, if I was even overhearing that conversation, I wouldn't understand what the hell they're talking about. It's so creepy and dark, and they're back in the back room rolling the knuckle bones. Like, what the? Did he say stall out time? What the hell? Another pig in a blanket, please. Bring the pigs in the blankets over here, and more drinks. More champagne. I mean, I don't know. What are they? What these creeps do? They, when they have their Eyes Wide Shut party, do they have these sorts of conversations about stalling out time? Anyway, it's all, I haven't quite hit the nail on the head here, but I think you'd agree with each one of these elements is kind of what they're doing. And stalled century is one of the creepiest things that they're doing. If you really want to. You really want to go sci-fi novel here? Sometimes we do this on the fly. And I would never say, oh, this is what I think's going on. Could you imagine my family's listening to this one in terms of what I'm about to say? But it's like, and this is, again, just a sci-fi novel. I'm not going to put my chips in. I'm not going to believe this is what's happening. I wouldn't take it off the table, though. It's like what we talked about. Per the 7-Eleven job application, big day in 2001, it's almost like, here we go, right back here again. It's like they moved reality off to the side in some netherworld. Some world, but is there a Michael Moorcock book? Don't laugh. Is there a Michael Moorcock book, Road Between the Worlds, something like that, or like World Between the Worlds? It moved reality off to the side, outside of the precession of the equinox, and whatever spell that stalled century to them. Again, this is a sci-fi novel, guys. I'm not saying I buy this, but the stalled century potentially keeps helps keep the reality off to the side. And the old guard's like, there's some weird truth to that. There's something. It's obviously it's not described properly, but there's something to that. But there's not. I guess that's not much different than saying trying to stall out time itself or hold back the tide of some kind. And these clowns here and these creeps and these Melvins of the Belinda and Melvin P. Gates Foundation, they're not powerful enough to hold back a tide. But if the tide on the tide chart says high tide comes in at 8 o'clock, they have reality buttons and levers where they can maybe hold the tide back to 8:25 or 8:30 or whatever it may be. They hold it back just a bit. But Matt, why are they trying to? I don't have the answers to it, but I guess we could play it out and have fun with it. Why are they trying to stall out time from their perspective? Someone might say, well, when the tide comes in or this finish line finally comes for them, their power is gone, or maybe or they they have more power. If you believe in these ages, like the age of Pisces being replaced by the age of Aquarius and all that, and things regarding astrology and things that I think there's merit to it, but I don't pay a lot of attention to it. I'm not running it down. There's merit to it, but I'm more of the worry about yourself. Astrology and the star, I don't think it has any, I don't need that to do what I'm supposed to do for myself here spiritually. So I don't care about that sort of thing. I'm completely about the worry about yourself activities and what I need to do for myself in the short amount of time that I have left. So in terms of all this, it's fun to speculate on, but I don't care about the particulars. They need all this. The entity that is the creeps, they need all this weird shit. We don't need it. We don't need it in any way. Like Tony said, they're game addicted, and they're afraid to take the leap, the spiritual leap that you and I have. Tony said they're the same as us, but they're less advanced than we are. The most advanced entity here is one that has agreed to be Tommy, the deaf, dumb, and blind kid, and not have any idea of who they are, what they were, what they will be, continuing to scroll through this mess of headlines, and now it's Hezbollah. I mean, a year ago, I don't keep up on it, guys, but let's just do a few minutes on this. A year ago, it was Hamas, which was the Sunni interpretation of Islam. It was in their backyard, West Bank, Gaza Strip, Hamas, Sunni Muslims. Now let's make enemies per the Not Milk script on both sides. Hezbollah, Shia. Some say Shiite. This is Iran-backed, and Lebanon. So now, I guess is the enemy of my enemy is my friend, and those two different interpretations of Islam are supposed to be, per the historical records going back 1,000+ years, are at odds with each other, in war with each other. It's probably one reason for the prolonged Iran-Iraq war in the 80s, the different interpretations of the Quran. Well, now they're working together because, of course, the greater devil is Israel. In Philly, it's Israel. Philly, it's worth $50, and it's from Antony in South Philly would say, what's Israel up to anyway? I guess that's better than what I do. Sorry. So now they've made enemies on both sides, and of course, if you're new, there's nothing. It's a script that was planned out a long time ago. There's nothing organic or natural about it. But 99% plus of those executing the script, I guess, just lower than Bibi's level. Our friend Bibi, that went to Cheltenham High School. Netanyahu went to Cheltenham High School, at least for a few years, just 40 minutes from here. I think he understands. Not milk. I don't think lower levels down. The first grade truther says they're all in on it. They all know everything. No, a download plays out through them. A script plays out through their frequency. And I was going to say, what do the people in Tel Aviv on the street in the cafes? What do they think? But I was like, well, what do you mean? What do they think? What does this guy down the street here think about the election? Well, he's a big Trump supporter. He's a big They believe every bit of it. My family, my friends, they believe every bit of this. So if you believe in politics here, why was I even going there? What do the people in Tel Aviv in the cafes or whatever, if they're still sitting out and about. I don't know. It seems like sometimes it seems like certain parts of Tel Aviv, like Oasis, all this work can be going on. They're just sitting around the cafes. I don't know. I ain't never been there. I ain't never going. But of course, they believe that they were unnecessarily harmed by these teism groups that just keep lobbing their, whatever their explosive over the wall and over just I'm sure they believe that it was all instigated by the groups, the teism groups of Hamas and Hezbollah. And just on the opposite side, say, well, why don't the people of Hamas get upset at Hezbollah? No, sorry. Why don't the people of Lebanon, the regular people, get upset at Hezbollah? Just say, we want to be left alone. We don't want you as a proxy for us getting involved in this war. Let Hamas. Why do the people of Palestine, West Bank, Gaza, why don't they get upset at Hamas? Just saying, why did you do what you did? We had a semblance of peace here. Now look where we are. But no, they act out the script just like everybody else. They believe they've been wronged in thousands of years, and this Israel shouldn't even be there. And they're all ignorant. Every single side at play here is ignorant, completely ignorant. Because when you back up far enough, anybody with just a degree of wisdom, if anything were real, which it's not, it's all a script and a download in people, would say, well, just what are we doing this for? Do nothing. Why? Who instigated the first attack from Hamas and to get us involved? Regular people on the street. Why don't they? Who got us involved in this? Look at this. Here we are again. This Israel's not going anywhere. Let's just move on with our lives. We're going to live the last 4 decades of our lives, or our kids, our entire lives of our children at war and with dilapidated buildings. Like do they get upset? I don't know. Who knows? If you could sample them on the street or talk to them about these sorts of things. I would think, just like everybody else, they're on the download, they're on the frequency. What they would say in Gaza, what Hamas is doing is right. It needed to be done, and we're prepared to back them, and even though our lives are now destroyed. And it's this, either way, it doesn't matter. The particulars, they're all ignorant. Bibi Netanyahu, that's a wrong word. He's not ignorant. He's a high-level not-milk operative, that's out to that type of entity, out to disrupt the spiritual paths of real people. Sorry to use the word person, sovereign citizen people, but sometimes I have to use the English words that are presented before me. I've removed the power from those words if I say the wrong thing. Because why? Because I said so. The meanings, just like Humpty Dumpty said in Alice in Wonderland, the meanings mean what I say they mean. Remember, we looked at that weird segment, Humpty Dumpty and Alice in Wonderland. I'll never forget that. That was a really interesting segment. We got to look at that again sometime. It was so. Alice in Wonderland is such a Humpty Dumpty, such a stuffed Lennon. It's not that good. It shouldn't be so popular and so famous, and 50 different adaptations in movies and plays, and it's a gigantic truth drop. In many regards, it wouldn't be Humpty Dumpty or stuffed Lennon, but the point is, Humpty Dumpty's talking to Alice, and when he says, the words here, these words mean what I say they mean. It's like, that's not milk. That's exactly, but we can do the same thing. They say what it means. What if some sovereign citizen person like Matt? They've given me lectures so many times. We know not to use human whenever we can. We know not to refer to ourselves as Homo sapien. Don't ever try to use their terms if you're consciously aware. But if you do, it's okay, because it means what we say they mean. Why? Because we said so. I mean, then if you remove the trick, you remove the power of whatever the trick is based on. Anyway, so I'd like that Humpty Dumpty, Alice. The words mean what I say they mean, Alice. He should have put in the hobo code. These hobo code anyway. So all the players, other than these top not milk minions, they're not ignorant because they know their role to disrupt. I don't think even Bibi at that level even knows what not milk truly is, but he knows there's this, he's in this secret dark club that's meant to stir up chaos and, weaving whatever when they get together, weaving spiders, not here. He understands he's on the side that would be considered a little dark. But in terms of does Bibi fully understand the goals of not milk in terms of its opposition to real spiritual beings and their journey here? No, I don't think he does, even at that level. If they're on television, remember, guys, in my opinion, it's a lower level creep. There's some higher level creeps that I don't think you'll ever see. Maybe they go to Knights of Malta meetings or something like that, or I don't think you'll ever see them on television. If you see them on TV, it's kind of a low level clown or creep. That's my opinion. I don't know. I never been to no Eyes Wide Shut party with Nicole Kidman. Anyway, let's see if there's anything else, guys. Prosecutors are planning on pursuing a rare charge for the man who allegedly plotted to shoot Trump while golfing, CNN headline. Prosecutors need to pursue a rare charge. Why would you pursue a rare charge? Let's just say it's real. Let's just, I know it's a stretch. Come on, just with suspension of disbelief, right? I had to do that watching MASH last night, the movie. Why would you need a rare charge? There was a dude with a shotgun in the bushes. What do we call this one? The two asses in the nation? A rifle in the woods. You don't need no rare charge. He was standing in front of... Okay, but Matt, why are you wasting? Michael's yelling at me because I'm looking at headlines again. This one, maybe just one more. James Carville, the Raging Cajun. Remember that clown? I think there's another plot twist coming. James Carville says on 2024 election. You have to be some sort of world famous political spin doctor, political, political PR master to come up with this. There's another plot twist coming. The Raging Cajun, James Carville. What kind of idiot, moron, asshole, jerk doesn't know there's multiple plot twists comings. Multiple plot twists comings. What do you think this is, James Carville? You think this shit's real? If it's scripted out, well, of course there's plot twists. James Carville, you're some sort of retarded asshole or something. I mean, I didn't know he was still around or still alive. He showed up at Billy. I think he was in the movie briefly. Billy Madison at the debate part, I believe. But that was 20 some years ago. So. Stalled, anybody yelling at me, I can hear you. Stalled century. Same political pundits, whatever that means. Pundit. Someone will comment now and tell me what that means. Stalled century. You can't have new blood. Maybe it's not science fiction, guys. Maybe they moved reality in some way off to the side, and through the stalled century somehow keeps it off to the side. But that's all. That's if they have to. Have these creepy ass spells to hold back the tide, that's good news. I mean, because ultimately it'll break. I mean, the tide will eventually. It doesn't matter how many pieces of plywood you go out and push on the water. You have a whole crew of lifeguards out with 4x8 sheets of plywood. Oh, we can hold back the tide. No, the tide's eventually going to come in. You hear me, Not Milk? The tide is eventually going to come in. You ever hear musical chairs? Not Milk? When it comes in. When the bow breaks, and down will... Oh, that's creepy. We got to analyze that sometime. I think we have to do it on Free Voice. That's creepy as shit. And down will come... Oh, God, that is dark. Where'd that come from? It's not as bad as Ring Around the Rosie and a pocket full of posy. Something to do with the Black Plague or something like that. All these weird-ass stuffed linens. But, Not Milk, if you moved reality off to the side, What, like Tony says, are you just game addicted? Just do what we did. Just take the plunge. Tommy, the deaf, dumb, and blind kid. It's scary not knowing who you were before coming in here, what you will be, what the moment of death exactly means. We've eliminated 98% of that fear, but we're in the body, and the body knows that it can't continue. So the fear from the body itself is transferred to us. We are not the body. The body is a very... I'm nice to my body. I say, body, did you like that food? I'm very symbiotic with my body nowadays. Body, do you need more sun, vitamin D or whatever? And just like driving a rental car, and we work symbiotically together the best that we can. And the body knows it's not going to go on after death, and that fear is probably transferred over to us to a degree. But, why not just in these creeps... Tony says they understand their past lives and they have a different relationship with higher self, and they know, their role, and they They probably, David Rockefeller probably knew that he would be coming back. Well, that doesn't make sense though. I was going to say he knew he'd be coming back into a body, but then somebody might say, well, why did he want to extend his life to 103 years old? Because he wouldn't have that degree of power. Maybe that degree of power has to be, even though they're given probably some advantages through bloodlines or whatever, or coming back as that sort of entity. Maybe that whole build-up, maybe they still compete amongst themselves. And David Rockefeller says, well, I don't want to start over, even though I have advantages as Tony says, as sequential incarnations via relationships and bloodlines. I'll have to build that whole legacy up all over again. I'll have to build the power up, and I'll have to fight with my own not minions and creeps to position myself and who's going to be on top, etc. The way kings or dukes and earls or whatever vie for power in monarchies, and it's not maybe they have their own little power struggles internally. And David Rockefeller, knowing he's just going to come right back into a creepy body, knows he doesn't want to fight. He doesn't want to do that again. So that's why he holds on to life as long as possible. I guess. I don't know. Maybe they gave us the blue pill, whatever, the blue pill. Is that interesting how the Viagra, the boing pill, the boing, that's like the Matrix, the red pill and the blue pill. The blue pills in the Matrix are the losers that can't see through reality. They just want to get back in the Matrix. But Pfizer put out the Viagra little blue pill. Maybe I was going to say maybe they give that blue pill to the regular people, but David Rockefeller, Matt, this is breaking down to nonsense. Maybe he gets a different type of blue pill. So 103 years old ain't exactly 103 where it counts. You know what I'm saying? Sorry, okay. I guess it's breaking down. HP product status. I've had this laptop 4 years and I'm still getting pop-ups. We hope you're enjoying your HP product. This is something that should pop up days after I bought it. Go away. McAfee, Norton, it's expired. It's expired. Every 2 days, your antivirus expires. I know. OneDrive is not turned on. But beep every time. It's like I just got the laptop. The same pop-ups for 4 years, and I don't know how to get rid of them. Microsoft OneDrive or something is not turned on. I know. I said I don't want to turn it on. I said it 4,000 times. Stop bothering me with these pop-ups. It's all part of not milk distraction. All right, guys. I think that's, I'll try to see if there's anything I missed. If not, I'll see you soon.